If you are trying to start a digital product business and you've spent the last 3 weeks comparing email platforms, trying to figure out which one's the best, which one's the cheapest, and which one has the best automations, I need you to stop. Because here's what nobody tells you when you're in a research spiral. You do not need 5 tools to start a digital product business. You need one. And I'm going to show you exactly how to set that up today. Hi, I'm Delana. I am a tech and systems specialist for solopreneurs. I work at Kit as a migrations expert, and I have spent 10 years setting up the backend for online businesses. I know this Kit platform inside and out. And if you're starting a digital product business, whether that's a course, a template, a membership, a workshop, Kit can handle all of it. It has email lists, product delivery, checkout, automations, all in one place. Let me show you. Now, before we get into the setup, I want to be real with you about why I'm so confident saying this. I've migrated over 30 businesses onto Kit, and I've seen what happens when people try to duct tape 5 different platforms together. And I've seen what happens when they use just one tool that does everything. The people who launch the fastest are not the ones with the most tools. They're the ones that stopped researching and finally just started setting things up. So that's what we're going to do today. But here's your quick win before we go any further. If you have a Kit account and you haven't done this yet, go into your account right now and make sure that your sending email address is confirmed and that your sender name is either your name or your business name. Because nothing else we build today matters if your emails are landing in spam. So go and do that and come back. Oh wait, I've got coffee. Okay, here's the full picture of what Kit can do for a digital product business and how to set it up in the right order. So step 1 is going to be your opt-in form. Before you sell anything, you need an email list, people to sell to. So in Kit, we're going to go to grow and then landing pages and forms. And we're just going to create a form, but we're going to keep it really simple first and just have name and email address. So we're going to click create new. We're just going to do a form. I'm going to do inline forms. This would be embedded on your website. You can also, if you don't have a website yet, you can do a landing page. So again, I'm just going to do create new, but I'm going to choose a landing page. So this is going to be a full page that you can share with people if you don't have a website yet, so that you can still get people on your email list, because that's the goal here, right? All right, and this one just has email address. Let's go ahead and just add name, because I really like to be able to personalize my emails, and you can't do that if there's no name. And I'm not going to change any of this right now because we're doing the fastest tutorial to get you set up. But basically you can just click on the different elements here. You'll see the sidebar change over here, and you can change whatever you need to change, colors and all of that. But I'm going to go ahead and just hit publish. And now you have a form. And then you hit share, and you just copy the URL here and you share it. And it is an actual page that you can share without needing a whole website. So share it on your thread, share it on your Instagram, share it wherever you are creating content, and people can sign up to your email list. Once you have that set up, you want to connect it to an email sequence, which brings us to step number 2. This is your welcome sequence. This might be the most important automation you ever build. And most people will either skip it altogether or only send one email and call it done. Now, one email is better than no emails, but ultimately you want to have at least 3, maybe 5 emails in your welcome sequence. Now you want your welcome sequence to do 3 things. Introduce you, tell people what to expect from being on your list, and mention your offer. Not in a pushy way, just in a, this is what I do and here's how I can help kind of way. So to set that up, we're going to go into send and sequences. And then we're going to click new sequence. And then you're just going to choose your email template. I just go with my main template here. And then again, I recommend at least 3 emails. One should go out immediately. So to set that up, you're just gonna change this send after 1 day to 0 days for your first email. And this is gonna be your intro email. So this is where you tell them about yourself. And if you had a freebie offer in your sign up, so if you said, hey, join my list and I'll send you this, this is where you also want to send that. This way they get it immediately after they sign up to your list, and they're not waiting on it. They don't have to ask you for it, and they don't forget or lose interest in you because they didn't get what you promised them. So that's super important. So this is going to be your intro email. I'm just going to put this here so that it shows us in our email list what that is. Okay, and then email 2 is going to be a value email of some kind. So I'm just going to say value email. And then this is just going to share some info about what you do, and maybe like a top tip or something like that. Maybe if you have a YouTube channel, maybe you send them to videos of that are your most asked questions and that sort of thing. Something valuable to show them that you can help them with whatever the thing was they're searching for, whatever it is that you do. And then this email, I usually recommend sending it at least 1 day later, maybe 2 days later. Feel that out and see how they do. And then email 3 for that one. This is the one where you're going to do like a very light offer pitch. So this would be like, thanks for grabbing the freebie, whatever that was, and then offer them, hey, if that helped you, then this is the next step type of thing. So now we've got 3 emails in here, an intro email, a value email, and a light offer pitch email. That's going to be in our sequence. I'm just going to call this like sequence setup. All right, so now we've got the emails. Now make sure also before you do this for real that you set all of these to published and not draft. If they're draft, they won't send. Okay, so when you're writing these emails, write them like you're writing a friend, okay? Don't make them sound super polished and super like formal, unless that's your brand. If that's your brand, go for it. But I like to write like I'm texting a friend, not presenting to a boardroom. So just keep that in mind. You just really want to make sure that they are fun and friendly. And then again, if your brand is very boardroomish, then go for it. But that's my tip for sending emails, is write like you're talking to like your bestie, even if it's not actually your bestie because your bestie doesn't have a business or whatever. Totally fine. Just pretend like you're talking to them. Once you have your sequence created, we just need to connect it to the form, because right now we have a form and we have a sequence, but they're not talking to each other. So when somebody signs up, they're not going to get those emails. So what we need to do for that is just come over here into visual automations. So I clicked automate, visual automations, and now I'm just going to click new automation. And I always just, Kit has tons of templates in here, but I'm going to click start from scratch and then start building, and I'm going to do joins a form, and then I'm just going to choose that form that we just did that I don't think I named. So I actually don't know which form it is. So now we've added the form, and then you just want to add a step, and then we're going to add the email sequence. And then again, make sure you set it to active when you've got it set up, otherwise it won't run. But now whenever somebody signs up to that specific form, they will get that specific welcome sequence that you just set up, which then offers them your product. Now, what we need to do is create your product. So Kit has a built-in product and commerce feature, which is relatively new, and it's relatively basic, but it gets the job done. So if you're just getting started, it's great because you don't have to connect 100 different apps together. You can use this to get started and then work on changing out or upgrading your apps as you go. So we are going to start by going to earn and products. All right, we're going to click new product. We're going to give it a name. You can either choose whether you want them to just pay once for this thing, or if it's going to be a subscription that they pay regularly until they cancel. So that would be great for like a membership or a paid newsletter or something like that. We're just going to set up the single pay product for now. Click next, you put your price in. So you have a minimum price of $5. What I have noticed is if you want to charge less than $5 for whatever reason, you can choose the pay what you want option here and then do a minimum price of like $2 or something like that, if that's what you wanted to do. It's just something that I've seen come up, so I wanted to throw that in there of not being able to pay less than $5. But yeah, you can do it by choosing the pay what you want and then putting in your minimum option. We're just going to do standard. I'm going to do $27. Okay, it's a digital product, so probably they don't need more than one, but if you need to give them the option of ordering more than one, you can turn that on there. Choose your currency. And then this is where you decide how you're going to deliver the product. So if it is a file, like a PDF or something like that, you can just upload it. So with, I'm pointing like you can see. Okay, so with send a file, you can see right here, there's an upload file option. So you would just do that. And then once they check out, they'll get sent a link to the file. If you have like a course that you have hosted somewhere, because Kit does not host courses. So if you're doing a course or something like that, you would have to have a place for them to be able to log in to access that material. Or if it's like, I don't know, Google Drive, where you're starting out very simple, then you would just put the link to Google Drive or whatever you're sharing here. So you would just go to the URL and then put your URL here. If it's a newsletter that's set up in Kit, it will walk you through those next steps. And then if there's something else, then you can set that up as well. This would be great if you were doing like a pre-sale or something like that and the product isn't ready yet. You would tag them and you could come back and send them access to the product later. So for now, let's just do send a file, and I'm just going to upload something from my desktop. So it's uploading the file, and then I'm just going to hit next. So this is my domain. So this is where you would create like what your URL is going to be for the product. I'm just going to leave my new product for now, but you could name it essentially whatever your product name is. All right, and then here is where you can edit what your checkout page looks like. So this editor is really just like the form editor or the landing page editor. So I'm not going to go into super detail here about how to make this look better, but basically you just click on the elements, you can upload images, change the, change out your text here, change the colors, all of that fun stuff. You can turn this off if you don't want it to show built with kit on your checkout page. So this is basically the sales page. It's very limited, so if that's an issue for you, then you could, create a sales page on your website if you have that. But if you don't, then it's perfectly fine to use this. Once you've finished with this page, then you are going to come to the checkout page. So this is where people actually pay. So again, you can click on the elements to change the colors, and this picture will show up if you put one on the other page. You can add upsells now if you want to do that. So give them something else to purchase if you want to increase your order sale total. And then they'll fill out obviously all of this with their credit card information. You can change the button color to match your brand, all of that fun stuff. Next up, you've got the confirmation page. So this is what they see after they check out. So we did a download, so it's going to give them the download button right here. If it's a link, I think maybe it puts the link like where they could click on it right here and then go to that page, etc. So whatever, like what happens here under purchase details is going to depend on what you chose in the beginning. And then finally, you can customize your receipt email. So this is what they'll receive in their email immediately after purchase. It's the transaction email. So once you have all that set up, you just hit publish. It's going to give you some options if you want a discount code or if you want to link directly to the checkout. So if you have a sales page on like your website instead and you just want to check out and you want to bypass this sales page that Kit has, you can choose to get a link directly here, which would be better if you are linking to it like from a different sales page. You don't want them to go through that other page, just link directly to this one. So you have that option when you click to publish. Otherwise, you can just click copy and get your URL, share it with the world. Now, I've obviously used and messed around with the Kit digital product sales before, so my Stripe account was already set up. If you have not used digital products through Kit before, you will be prompted somewhere in this process to set up your Stripe account. It's very step-by-step. And very simple to set up, but just know that that's like another step that could pop up for you if this is new for you. Now what we want to set up, and this is super important, is a post-purchase sequence. So this would be the sequence that goes to your customers after they've purchased this. So they're going to get the receipt email immediately, but they should also get emails from you. Thank you for buying my product. And then maybe some follow-up emails about, are you using it? Do you have questions? Like that kind of thing, like really customer support type of questions to know that they're supported and they didn't just give you money and then you ran off with it. You know what I'm saying? So to do that, we're going to come back over here into Automate, and I kind of want to show you a different way to set up a visual automation as well. So earlier we set up the sequence first, or the form first, and then the sequence, and then we made an automation. But you can do all of that straight from visual automation. So I'm going to go ahead and click to start a new automation. We're going to do a blank one again. And I'm going to hit start building. And this time I'm going to choose from product purchased. And I'm going to choose my new product because that's the one that we just did. So now anytime somebody buys my new product, they will automatically be put into this automation. And now I'm going to click to add an email sequence. And I'm going to do. So if you go ahead and start naming something and it doesn't exist, then it's going to prompt you to create a new sequence. So you're just going to go ahead and click that. Okay, and it's just going to create the new sequence. So then we're going to just click on that. And now you can edit the sequence just like we did if we were in the send and the sequences page here. So your first email, you'll want to say something like, thanks for buying, whatever that is. And then you'll want to add a couple days later, or actually this one should go out immediately. So change that to 0. This one would be like a couple days later. Have you used it yet? Something like that. Maybe after 2 or 3 days. And then another one that's something along the lines of, do you have any questions? I don't know. Set it up how it works for your brand. But what I'm saying is, you want to send them something to let them know, hey, I've got your back now that you've bought my product. You know what I'm saying? Like don't leave them in the dark. Make sure that it's active. And then once it's active, anybody who purchases that product will get your product automatically, and then also will get this new product sequence automatically. You don't have to do anything after you set it up. Once you have all that set up, you've got a form to bring people onto your list. They're getting welcome emails. You've got a product set up there. People are buying your product and they are getting put on your list. Now you want to start sending out regular broadcast emails. These are just weekly like newsletters, updates, like here's something new. I learned this thing this week. I want to share it with you, that kind of thing. These are a little bit more manual. You can set them up in a sequence, but I feel like these type of emails are more timely. So you're probably just going to want to set them up as a broadcast, because something you send out next week might not be super relevant in 2 months. So you wouldn't want to put it in a sequence and then have somebody getting it really out of date. So I recommend sending these out weekly just as one-time emails. So to do that, we are just going to go to send and broadcast. And then you just create one from by and then you just click create new broadcast. And then this is where you just type your emails in. So again, this is just to help you show up in your subscribers' inbox regularly with something to share with them. And that is pretty much it. We did the whole thing in like, I don't know how long this is going to end up being. I've been recording for 35 minutes. Edited video will probably be much shorter. But we did the whole thing. We did a form, a sequence, a product, a post-purchase sequence. We did automations, and we did broadcasts. Okay, now granted, none of that included actually creating any of that content. So there's that. But once you have your content, it is very simple and quick to set it all up inside of Kit, and you don't need 100 different apps all trying to talk to each other. Because sometimes that, I mean, I'm all about some integrations and stuff. Like, I love setting that up. But sometimes it's not necessary, and I will always be the first one to tell you that it's better if you can keep everything in as few apps as possible. Now, if you're sitting here watching this and you're thinking, okay, I understand the pieces, but I have no idea how to actually make mine work, or you started setting this up 6 months ago and it's half built and broken and you're not sure what's wrong with it, then that's what a Fix My Shit session is for. It's 90 minutes. We'll get on a call. You show me what you have, show me what's not working, and we'll work through fixing it together. If you want me to show you how to fix it, I can do that with a screen share. If you want me to walk you through how to fix it, you can screen share with me and I'll show you how to do it. However you learn better, I can work both ways. Either way, you leave with whatever's broken fixed. I will leave the link in the description if that sounds like something that you need. Now, here's something that I just kind of want to throw on here at the end that most people don't realize about Kit until they've been using it for a little while. And that is just how powerful their tagging and segmenting is. Every single person on your list can be tagged based on what they opted in for, what they clicked, what they didn't click, what they bought, what they didn't buy. And you can use that to send different emails to those people. So the person who bought your beginner template gets a different follow-up email than the person who's been on your list for 6 months and hasn't bought anything. Or the person who clicked on your link about your membership gets tagged as interested and goes into a different sequence than someone who has never clicked on anything. And that way you're also not blasting the same email to everyone. You can actually have a different conversation with each segment of your list based on what they actually care about. And once it's all set up, you're not having to do any of it manually. It just runs. I hope this helps you get your first digital product set up and out into the world inside of Kit, and I will see you next week. Bye.